Hi guys, I hope you're well. Do you have any tips for practicing? Well, if you could be a bit more specific what you mean by practicing, so practicing pieces, practicing technique, warming up, generally I think it's always better, and I also tell my students that better little and often than, especially if you have other things to do in life, then not doing anything for 3 days and then ramming it in on one single day. So that's a general, as like cleaning your teeth better often, and even if it's short amounts, because your brain will thank you for doing not too long sessions, so it can actually digest what you're trying. So you're always in practice. Also, your approach is to improve something, right? That's a general advice. And anything specific, it would be great if you asked that very specifically, but that's general. Often, and even if you have little time, try and do a little bit. Yes, and also before you practice something, maybe think first, with good brain. What is the aim of that session, of that practice session? So is the aim to just, whatever it could be, to just get the right hand warmed up, for example? Or is the aim in a piece to improve on one difficult sections or 5 difficult sections that you have circled, or your teacher circled, or whatever, or, are generally the passages you need to improve on? Or is the aim of the practice session just stamina, so to just run through it? That often, by the way, gets forgotten. You need to also, especially as a professional, you also need to go through things. You don't always have the luxury to have many rehearsals, for example. Often it's just one rehearsal and then you go. So if you're not used to running through things, that's no good. So stamina could be one thing. That's completely different, for example, for improving, or you can have first page of Sibelius Concerto of the first movement and just want to improve on intonation or dynamics, or, usually what I find in myself, of course, as well, so we all do it, nobody's exempt, is that it's not so effective just to bulge into it. So to have 1 second or 30 seconds before and think to yourself, what is the aim? And often we try to improve on too many things at the same time, and then people get frustrated. Everybody would, it's normal. So little bites, bite off not as much as you can chew and digest, and then often, little bites and often, I would recommend that. So and if you need specific help with that, I can, we can do this again next month, and I can show you an example by what I mean by that. I can also take you along in how I would do it. It also depends, is it a new piece, like you have to learn the rhythm, the notes, the structure, or you have to learn it quickly by heart? That's completely different than revising something that you know very well, and that's a completely different approach, I would say. So general advice: what is your aim of doing X, Y, Z at this given moment in time? And if you're very tired or you have very little time, focus on one thing only. And also, when you have lots of time, that often happens to students, so professionally they don't have to work or anything, have lots of time, and they tell me, well, I've done this for 2 hours and it's it's not really where I wanted it to be. And I tell them, well, no wonder, you cannot improve something very difficult just by doing it 2 hours straight. You have to do it a little bit, come back to it, do something else, rest, then do it again. And then over a course of 1 week, you will see an improvement, So pace yourself, patience, especially with the violin. It's difficult work, and it involves a lot more of the brain. If you do it properly, then people would think it does, and you also need rest in between. So, this is for professional people, air the room, drink something, take stock, record yourself. Also then, what often happens, people record themselves, and nowadays, with the phone, you can do it so quickly and so easily, and with video and mirror and everything. And then what they do is they don't listen back. So that is also part of a practice section. If you want to go into that detail, if you don't or don't have to, don't, of course, It could also be the aim of the practice session is to have fun with whatever music you enjoy, and just have half an hour of fun. That is allowed too, and that's so important too. And don't think of anything, intonation, nothing, But it does help to think to yourself, what is the aim of that particular, and may it be 5 minutes, You will have a lot more benefit if you set one goal, and you'll also feel quicker rewarded, and then you'll probably be more likely to do it again, So practice is, a lot of it is also psychology, I would say. Yes, and we often want too much at once. That's also very normal. So remember that we're we're pretty much similar all over the place in the world. When it comes to that, what else could be of help is if you have loads of time and you want to do loads of things, to limit yourself. Say, I have half an hour, and this is the aim for the half an hour, and then, or if students, just don't fancy practicing, it happens, It's not always fun, of course not. So how to make it fun, Give yourself 15 minutes and say, I must not do more than 15 minutes. Often people find themselves, they get into it, and then they want to do more. Also very good for kids, and sometimes practice could be that that is especially true for professional or ongoing professionals, that you step back from it and listen to a recording, read through the music, or do something completely different and come back fresh, rather than forcing something. You will see in creative processes, you cannot always, do it like, I don't know how to put this, like a machine. You can try, but often the result will not be great. Sometimes it's better to step back, and even if it's just for half an hour. So this is all from my experience. I hope this is of help. Yes, but I presume if you're asking this, you're not a professional musician, and in that case, often, and even if it's little amounts of time, that will benefit you more than once a week a lot. But if it only works like once a week a lot, then, and you're fine with that, then do that, But usually, often, and little bites is good for, from physical point of view. Okay, guys, so I hope I have answered these questions thoroughly. Thanks so much for sending in the questions. Thank you so much, and be well. Bye-bye.